Hi everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative. I'm making a colorful slimline card today just using a few products from the latest February 2022 collection. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Floral Scallop Slimline die set and the 4x9 watercolor paper pack. I wanted to do some easy watercolor stripes. There are two new amazing paper collections from LDRS Creative, so if you wanted to simplify this card, all you would have to do is just pick out one of those pattern papers from either the One Fine Day or even the lovely watercolor paper pack you could use for this card. But it's been a long time since I've pulled out my watercolors, and I wanted to just pull them out and create a simple background. So I'm working with some tropical colored watercolors, and I'm just going to be coloring some easy, simple diagonal stripes onto my watercolor background. I'm going in rainbow order, and just like when you're ink blending, the key to smooth watercolor is to overlap your colors just a little bit. Now once this panel is dried, I'm taking a spray bottle full of just clean water, and I'm going to spritz this background a little bit and then use my microfiber cloth and pick up some of those water droplets. I repeated this process 2 or 3 times, and now you can see how I have a little bit of subtle texture to my background. Another step that you could definitely skip, but I like to add some kind of texture to my background. Usually I go with spatters, but today I thought I would do a little bit of color lifting. I used that innermost die from the Floral Scallop Slimline die set and cut out my watercolor panel, so this will be my top layered panel. I also used that middle scalloped die and cut out a piece of white cardstock, and now I'm going to show you how to use the outer die. So this is what's going to cut your actual card base. Only the top, bottom, and right side of your die are going to cut, and it's also going to cut a stitching accent to your card. The left side is completely flat. There's not a score line, there's not a cut line. It's just an empty piece of metal, sort of, so that you know that is the end that you want to hang off of your card. So I folded a piece of cardstock in half, hung off that flat piece of metal off the edge, and then ran that through my die cutting machine. I use a regular standard size die cutting machine, so I did have to cut half of my card base and then shift it up and cut again. But I could easily cut a slimline card base, and now it has that stitching detail, and I didn't have to measure anything at all. I grabbed my lovely Wildflower Cluster dies, and I used just the largest die. This die set has 2 dies. One is more of a greenery die, and this one is a cluster of flowers. And I cut that 5 times from some white cardstock. Now you see me here using my glue pen, and I am just adding tiny dots of glue here, there, and everywhere so that I can stack these together. The lines in here would be difficult to cut down small pieces of foam tape for dimension, and so it's a lot quicker for me to die cut multiple pieces and stack them together, and it's a lot sturdier too for mailing. Now I'm going to go ahead and start assembling my card. I added my scalloped white piece to my card base with liquid adhesive, and then I popped up my rainbow watercolored background so that it would have some dimension. And I'm going to use little dots of liquid adhesive again to add my lovely Wildflower Cluster die towards the left side of my slimline card. I have the Everyday Sayings stamp set, and I love this stamp set because these sentiments are bold and easy to work with, and I especially love the coordinating die set. The stamp set has 10 sentiments, but the die set has 20 dies, and you're going to see that in action here. So there's a die to cut out each of the sentiments, leaving just a little bit of a border, but then there's also a shadow die, so you can stack these dies together. I went ahead and used some low-tack tape and adhered my die over top of my sentiment, and then I also cut out that shadow die, so here you can see that just gives some extra dimension, especially if you cut it from a different color cardstock. But I really wanted this card to be white with just a punch of bold color in the background. So that's it. That's my finished slimline card. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. It was a pretty quick and easy one. I have listed and linked all of the LDRS Creative products that I use below in my video description. And coming up on the screen now are a few other videos that I thought you might enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!